Have you ever noticed that food on an airplane tastes different? It's not your imagination. Many travelers have experienced this odd sensation, wondering why their favorite snacks or meals just don't taste the same when they're thousands of feet above the ground. Whether it's a simple sandwich or a fancy meal, the flavors seem muted or even a bit strange. But what's really going on here? Why does food lose its appeal once we're up in the sky? Airplane food really does taste different than food on the ground. Scientists have studied this phenomenon and found that it's not just about the food itself, but about how our bodies react to the environment inside an airplane. Even if the same meal is served in a restaurant and on a plane, it can taste completely different. This is because of some interesting things that happen to our bodies when we fly. The cabin environment is very different from what we experience on the ground, and it affects us in surprising ways. Our sense of taste and smell change when we are high in the air. In fact, studies show that our ability to taste sweet and salty flavors can drop by as much as 30% during a flight. This means that foods may taste bland or less flavorful than usual. This is because of the lower air pressure and dry air inside the airplane cabin. The air pressure in a plane is much lower than what we're used to on the ground, and the humidity is often less than 20%, drier than most deserts. The dry air dries out our noses, making it harder to smell our food. Since smell is a huge part of how we experience flavor, this makes everything taste less intense. So next time your in-flight meal tastes a bit off, remember, it's not the chef's fault, it's just science at work. Have you ever noticed that food tastes a little different when you're flying high above the clouds? It's not just your imagination. Our taste buds actually don't work as well when we are flying. The unique environment inside an airplane cabin can really confuse our senses, especially our sense of taste. At cruising altitude, the air pressure inside the cabin is much lower than what we experience on the ground. This lower air pressure, combined with the dry air and constant background noise, reduces our ability to taste sweet and salty flavors. In fact, studies have shown that our sensitivity to these tastes can drop by as much as 30% while flying. That's why airplane food is often much saltier and spicier than the meals you'd eat at home or in a restaurant. Chefs and airlines have to compensate for our dulled taste buds by adding extra seasonings, so the food still has flavor when you're thousands of feet in the air. Airlines are well aware of these changes to our senses. They actually spend a lot of time and effort researching how altitude affects taste and smell, and they use this information to design their in-flight menus. In fact, some airlines even have special kitchens and tasting rooms that simulate the conditions of an airplane cabin, so chefs can test and adjust recipes to make sure the food will still taste good at high altitudes. To make meals more appealing, they often use more salt, spices, and umami flavors, which are less affected by altitude. So, the next time you're enjoying a meal on a plane, remember, it's not just the food that's different, it's your taste buds too. Airlines put a surprising amount of thought and care into the meals they serve on planes. It's not just about filling hungry stomachs. Each dish is carefully planned, tested, and prepared to ensure passengers have a pleasant dining experience, even while flying thousands of feet above the ground. Behind every meal, there's a team of chefs, nutritionists, and airline staff working together to create menus that are both appealing and practical for in-flight service. They want to make sure the food is not only safe to eat, but also easy to handle in a small airplane seat, and most importantly, tastes good at high altitudes. This is a real challenge, because our sense of taste and smell changes when we're flying. The dry air and lower pressure inside the cabin can dull flavors, making food seem bland or less appetizing than it would on the ground. That's why common airplane meals often include familiar options like pasta, chicken, and fish. These dishes are popular because they hold up well during reheating and can be enjoyed by a wide range of passengers. Airlines also try to offer a variety of choices to suit different tastes and dietary needs, from vegetarian options to special meals for kids or people with allergies. To make food taste better on planes, airlines often use special cooking techniques. For example, they might adjust recipes to include more flavorful ingredients or cook meals in a way that helps them stay fresh and delicious after being reheated in the air. Chefs might marinate meats for longer periods or use stronger spices and seasonings to boost flavor. They also experiment with different sauces and herbs, knowing that bold tastes are more likely to come through when you're flying. Some airlines even invest in special ovens that use steam or moisture controls to help food stay moist and tender during the flight. All these efforts come together to make sure that, from the kitchen to your tray table, your in-flight meal is as enjoyable as possible, even at 35,000 feet. Did you know that your airplane meal is prepared long before you even arrive at the airport? Large catering companies make thousands of meals each day for airlines around the world. The food is cooked, packaged, and kept cold until it is loaded onto the plane. The food is then reheated on the plane and served to passengers. It's a long journey from the kitchen to your tray table. Even though airplane food might not be the same as a meal at your favorite restaurant, there are things you can do to make it taste better. Drinking plenty of water helps to keep your mouth from getting too dry. You can also bring your own snacks, like fruit or nuts. These can help to satisfy your hunger if you don't like the airplane meal. Remember, airplane meals are a fun part of the travel experience. Airplane meals are unique. They are prepared in a special way and served at a very unusual altitude. By understanding how flying affects our senses, we can better appreciate the effort that goes into creating these meals. Bon appétit!